Hey, what's up guys? John here. A 30% increase in active inventory unfolded in April. And why is that? Why is home inventory increasing? Well, something very shocking is happening in the housing market that no other media outlet is talking about. Not CNBC or CNN or Fox or any of these outlets. Nobody is discussing the real problem unfolding behind the housing market. Now, many people think, hey, John, I got a 3% mortgage, a 4% mortgage, a 5% mortgage. No way I'm moving. I'm not going to move. And 90% of people do have mortgages like that. But what they don't tell you is what's happening with property taxes, home insurance, and utilities. They're extracting wealth from millions and millions and millions of Americans. Every single day it's getting harder to hold on to these mortgages, especially in places like Florida, where property taxes are soaring, home insurance soaring.
Home insurance costs are on the rise across the country.
Residents are stunned by the increases in their home insurance premiums.
Premiums with some insurers to increase by an additional 40% on average next year.
Condo inventory is exploding throughout the state. I'm not saying that to be dramatic. Go on Zillow. You look at how many properties are listed in Florida, in Texas, in a lot of these locations with high insurance. It's shocking. I mean, for context, last year, as a national average, so not just Florida, Texas, and California, a national average, home insurance has increased between 30 and 60%. Home utilities, basic electricity, national average, 29.5% increase. Property taxes. Look at this. This is absolutely shocking. Last year, tax collected $363 billion in property taxes. That's an increase of 6.9% and almost double the 3.6% gain a year earlier.
Well, there's a good chance when you get your next property tax value that there will be a big increase.
Family says their modest apartment complex could go bankrupt. That's because they're faced with a 440% increase in property tax.
So as they keep inflating these zestimates and these home appraisals, these online home appraisals, people think that their home's actually worth that. They're getting billed this. They're getting billed this every quarter, every year. They're getting billed and hit with this massive property tax bill on a value that never really existed. I mean, look at this, for example. You tell me, 1 bed, 1 bath in Kissimmee, Florida, 775 square feet, right? This is like a 2-car garage, 775 square feet. And this property, if you were to put 20% as a down payment, so let's say you have $80,000 in cash, hard cash, 80 grand, you have a 7.42% interest rate. So you have a great credit score to get that, probably a 780. And you got a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. You're looking at $3,774 a month for this. So you probably have to make at least three times this with no debt on a monthly basis. So you have to make about 12 grand a month, $144,000 a year to get this property. $144,000 a year for this. How is that going to have a soft landing? How are we walking into a soft landing? Well, the answer is we're not. What's actually going to happen is this massive stimulus bill that's going to homeowners that I'm going to get into in a second, on top of everything happening here. So what they're going to do is they're going to stimulate this housing market dramatically in the coming month, 2 months, 3 months, making homeowners feel like this weight and this pressure isn't there. It's going to inflate these values possibly a little bit further. They're going to extract more and more and more liquidity. And then when it comes time to pay back these loans, they won't have the money. And all these homes will be going back to the bank. They'll be going back to Wall Street. Now I'm going to break this down for you. I'm going to give you the facts and show you exactly what's going on to help you and position you for what I believe is going to be the biggest wealth transfer in American history. I'm not saying that to be dramatic. I mean, look at the facts. I'm going to break it down for you in this video. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. YouTube will share this content to educate the people about what's going on in America's economy. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we would love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for tomorrow. Take a look at this. It's shocking. $363 billion. Now, if the media came out and said the housing market's crashing, everything is horrible, inflation is, they were telling us where inflation was, well, what would happen? Well, obviously, values of homes would be falling. And with it, tax collections would greatly fall. I mean, this $363 billion would definitely not have a 3 in front of it. It might have a 1 in front of it. It might be 200 billion, right? It might be 250 billion. They lose $150 billion worth of taxes being collected if people really knew where the economy was. I mean, look at literally every page. If you just go, let's just say the last week, property taxes increasing. You have, Nebraska talking about it, Tennessee, Minneapolis. It could rise in 2025. No more property taxes. Like they're trying to push for that. Wake County budget property tax increase is likely as property tax bills rise. This is 4 days property tax increase in Charlotte. This is, all the last couple days, right? So you start to pay attention to this. It's like they want property tax reform, right? People they realize what's happening. But look at this. This guy has a $200 million online business, and he posted this yesterday. I saw this. I'm like, oh, interesting. His property tax bill went up 66%. I live in Oklahoma. I have no claims in the past 5 years. 66% his property tax bill went up. I'm like, okay. Then I saw this. Home insurance premiums skyrocket 30 to 60% nationwide. 211,000 views. I'm like, okay, well, let's read the comments. Let's see what people are saying. Let's see what America is saying about this, right? Soon, well, people pulling HELOCs to cover insurance costs, absolute doom loop. Funny enough, they're walking into a $1 to $2 trillion home equity line of credit by Freddie Mac to push all this money to homeowners. They'll use this money and they'll either pay down debt, they'll pay down their insurance and taxes, and they'll just keep paying. And, it's going to push this thing out a little bit further. And this is all starting, next 30, 60, 90 days. But you start reading this, just wait until property taxes follow. U.S. inflation 3.1%. Now look, mine went up 10%. Now look, watch this. So a lot of people are saying here that that people are saying wait till the people get their water bills too. They just printed $3 trillion. And look at this. Many people, yep, just got my new bill this week. I was shocked, not gonna lie. Calling around trying to find a better rate now. Added $600 a month to my mortgage payment, just found out. Then much more, I'll save money by dropping this insurance. My premium's up almost 100% on 3 rental properties over the past 2 years. This is why landlords have to keep raising rents. Add to taxes, maintenance, and repair costs, plus squatters' rights. All these people are saying the same thing. Mine nearly doubled. State Farm straight up canceled mine. Only necessary if you have a mortgage. People are continuing to cancel these policies, especially in places like Florida. Mine went up 80% from last year. So you start to look at this. This is what is it's disgusting what insurance companies are getting away with. All these people saying the same exact thing, more like 2x, right? So you have to ask yourself, if property taxes are increasing like this, and utility bills are increasing like this, and food prices are increasing like this, how can people maintain their current bills if their incomes are not increasing with these costs? They can't. They just can't. They won't be able to. And so electricity prices have soared 29.4%, 50% more than overall inflation, rising 13 times faster than the previous 7 years, according to a Wall Street Journal analyst of the Bureau of Labor and Statistics data. 185,000 views. So all these electric cars, people have been buying electric cars the last couple of years. The price to charge these cars is going to continue to go up. It's going to continue to go up. With it, the insurance for these vehicles as well. So you're seeing a lot of insurance company travelers, insurance raising rates in 15% in California. But if you look at just home insurance and you put it just in like the last, we'll just put it the last 24 hours, see what comes up. Predictions, busy hurricane season won't drive up insurance. Right. Rising insurance rates, food at dollar stores, efforts to reduce smoking in Wisconsin. Esurance, one of 15% California home insurance crisis, insurers still sell policies. Oklahoma, rising insurance takes residents by surprise. All these different, stories about rising insurance prices. We're going to see something fascinating here because as we see the inflation data continuing to show that inflation is a little bit higher, a little bit more stubborn than they anticipated. They show the labor market is doing really, really well, 3.9%, unemployment rate. And Jerome Powell says that he's not going to cut rates until unemployment increases. What's that going to mean? Rates are going to stay higher for longer, or possibly they're going to go up. They're going to possibly go up. And if that does happen, you have to ask yourself, what will people do in that situation? Well, people are going to look for a way in which they can survive. And one of the easiest ways to do that will be to rent, to no longer own a home. And so if you are a renter right now, it's actually not a bad spot to be in, because there's a lot of inventory hitting. You have a 50-year high in apartment construction right now. You have 700,000 units that are soon to hit the market. And so with that, all that extra inventory is going to make it a little bit more challenging for these builders, these investors, and these heavily leveraged landlords to be able to rent out their places at top dollar. So the tenant will have more of a bargaining, more bargaining power here. I mean, look at this. If you were to buy that one-bedroom house for $399,000 and it's $3,700 a month, you could live almost, in a lot of these locations for $1,500 to $2,000, right? So literally half the price. And so what are people going to do? I believe many homeowners are going to start moving into renting. That's what I think is going to happen. And then over the next couple of years, as Wall Street and a lot of these institutions start acquiring more and more and more of homes, they will then jack up rents accordingly, right? They'll have more marketing power or more market power. Now, housing market inventory is shifting. Here's what the data shows. The housing market saw a 30% increase in active inventory in April, but that's still 35% below pre-pandemic levels. Right. Give it another 6 months. Give it another year. Right. This is where we're headed. 6 months ago, 2 years ago, nobody wanted to sell their home. Everyone thought that, hey, we're going to be going back to normal. Everything is going to be great. And now you're starting to see this. Housing supply surges by up to 50% in these metro areas, and many sellers are being forced to slash their asking prices. Came out last week. The property report includes 85 metropolitan areas in the U.S. with populations of at least 750,000. Most homebuyers in the U.S. are dealing with low number of property listings as homeowners with low mortgage rates hold off on selling. Several cities in the Sun Belt are defying the trend. And it's not just the Sun Belt. You look Florida, for example, number of homes for sale in certain metro markets in Florida rose 50% from a year ago, indicating that the housing supply is surging, brokerage said, offering good news for home buyers. Well, you have to ask yourself, is it good news for home buyers to buy at these heavily inflated prices knowing that property insurance will likely continue to rise for the next year or two? My suggestion is if you are, renting and you have a really ambitious goal or target, if you can get your hands on a decent amount of cash and you could buy in one of these areas that are deemed high risk with very, very high insurance rates, but you can buy it with no mortgage, you can self-insure it. And I think we're going to see a lot of investors starting to do that as rates continue to climb and get kind of out of control. And so position yourself accordingly over the next year or so, because there's so many homeowners. I'm not talking about a million or two. I'm talking about tens of millions of homeowners right now that are already very, very, very nervous. And as the world gets more challenging, which you look out there, you look at what's happening, globally, every day, every week, another big story, another big threat is coming. As the world gets more challenging, you're going to see a lot of these people needing to sell. And who are they going to sell to? How many people are out there right now? How many individual homeowners are out there right now looking to spend $4,000 a month for a basic home? $3,000 a month for a basic home? Not many. So put yourself in a really, really strong position. Cash in the bank, great credit, no consumer debt. That's a key. If you can get out of consumer debt, this year, next year, it's going to really put you in a really strong position because it's going to be easier to get financing. Lenders look at your debt to income ratio. They look at the amount of debt that you have compared to your income. If you have no debt or very close to no debt and you have strong income, great credit, cash in the bank, you're going to be in an awesome spot. What do you think about this entire situation? What do you think about home insurance, property tax? Also, some places like Florida and Texas, they offer homestead exemptions. So you can get certain caps on your property taxes to where, your taxes aren't going to be going up like a lot of other, cities and states around the country. So if you can, buy something, no insurance, and get a homestead exemption, you're going to be almost untouchable. Let me know your thoughts below. Let's have a conversation about this. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself, what I believe is going to be an incredible wealth transfer. It's going to probably inflate a little bit more, over the next 6 months or so. But, the next year, 2 years, we're going to walk into just an amazing opportunity to invest. So if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for this massive wealth transfer, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in a credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for tomorrow, and I'll catch you next video.